Let's go Browns! What if I told you that the biggest transformation within the Cleveland Browns organization this offseason isn't happening on the field, but behind the scenes? What if I told you that a quiet, calculated change could end up being the most impactful decision Andrew Berry makes all year? That's exactly what's happening in Berea right now. A complete overhaul of the Browns' health and performance staff has taken shape, and if you dig into the details, it could be the franchise's most significant change in 2025. But before you go any further, be sure to like if you've been a Cleveland Browns fan for over 20 years. It's great to see fans of all ages. If you believe we're going to the Super Bowl, write this: Go Browns! My heart is all yours. Let's back up for a second. The Browns didn't just have a bad year in 2024, they had a devastating year physically. Injuries have derailed the team's trajectory in every possible direction. From Deshaun Watson's new Achilles tear to Nick Chubb's broken foot, from DeJuan Jones' broken leg to Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah's neck injury, 248 games missed in total. This isn't bad luck. It's a failure of the system, and Andrew Berry knew it. That's why, in January, after a devastating 3-14 season, Berry vowed to look inward. Not just at the players or the plays, but at the very process of keeping the team healthy and available. And now, we're seeing that plan in action. This week, the Browns pulled the trigger on one of the most aggressive reorganizations we've seen in years. Veteran staffers are out. 6 new hires are in. 3 key internal promotions. And what's even more fascinating, every move is strategic, calculated, measured. This wasn't a cleanup, it was a redesign. Let's start with the names who are no longer part of this franchise. Joe Sheehan, the Senior Vice President of Player Health and Development, gone after 16 seasons. Sean Hulse, Director of Performance since 2020, also out. Katie Misick, Director of Performance Nutrition since 2016, gone. That's decades of institutional knowledge wiped clean. Now, meet the new vision. Ryan Curtis comes in as Director of Health and Performance Innovation. Keenan Robinson is now Manager of Recovery Services. 2 new performance therapists, Matt Hobbs and Stephen Best, are on board. Grace Kennedy joins as Assistant of Performance Nutrition, and Jeremy Portillo arrives as Performance Science Fellow. This is a layered, modern approach: health, recovery, nutrition, innovation, and science, all getting their own specialized leadership. But let's talk about one promotion in particular, Pat Rock. You might not know his name now, but get ready, because this guy could be the linchpin for everything. Rock's journey started humbly, as a summer intern back in 2014. 11 years later, he's the new head athletic trainer. And he's not just a trainer, he's a certified strength and conditioning specialist, and someone who understands both the locker room and the lab. Rock will now lead an interdisciplinary team of athletic trainers and physical therapists, while also coordinating with team physicians and outside medical consultants. And this isn't just about taping ankles or handing out ice packs. This is about strategy, structure, culture. Rock has a degree in biology from Drew University, where he also played college baseball, and a master's in athletic training from Seton Hall. That's science and sport colliding. And now, it's all focused on fixing Cleveland's most consistent opponent, injury. It's not just Rock. Kelsey Fahey has been promoted to Director of Performance Nutrition, and Gordon Williams will now serve as Health and Performance Operations Coordinator. Each of these names now holds the keys to how this team trains, recovers, eats, sleeps, and ultimately performs on Sundays. Let's be clear, this is Andrew Berry going all in on infrastructure. You don't change a third of your performance department unless you believe the old system was broken beyond repair. And Berry was direct in his press release. Player availability and safety while maximizing player performance is a crucial process to the success of our organization. And then he hit us with something even more telling. We have begun the process of modernizing our approach in the player health and wellness spaces. That's not coach speak. That's an admission. They weren't modern. They weren't maximizing performance. And they're not going to stand still. But here's where things get even more intriguing. How do these changes ripple into the rest of the roster? What happens if these upgrades keep Deshaun Watson upright for a full season? What if Nick Chubb isn't just returning, but thriving behind a revamped recovery regimen? And what if young players like DeJuan Jones and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah finally stay on the field long enough to reach their potential? Before we dive into how this will affect personnel decisions, the draft, and yes, even the quarterback situation, I want to hear from you. What do you make of this overhaul? Do you believe these behind-the-scenes moves can truly change the course of the Browns' 2025 season? Let's not sugarcoat it. No free agent signing, no draft pick, no trade will matter if the Cleveland Browns can't keep their best players on the field. That's why what happened off the radar this offseason is potentially more significant than any on-field headline. We're now in the era of precision performance in Cleveland. And at the center of this shift is not a quarterback or wide receiver, it's the system built to support them. Let's revisit some of the injuries that crippled the Browns last season. Deshaun Watson's re-torn Achilles didn't just derail a quarterback, it sank an entire offensive rhythm. Nick Chubb's broken foot eliminated one of the most reliable playmakers in the NFL. And when you add Alex Wright's torn triceps, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah's neck injury, and DeJuan Jones' broken leg to that list, it's no wonder the team struggled to even remain competitive. These aren't just physical setbacks. They're momentum killers, morale crushers. You lose your stars, and you lose your identity. But now, the Browns are betting big on one idea, that smarter systems, better people, and modern practices can be the difference between another 3-14 collapse and a playoff resurgence. Let's talk about what modernizing actually means. With Ryan Curtis leading health and performance innovation, this isn't about trial and error anymore, it's about data. It's about analytics, performance metrics, and individualized health protocols. With Matt Hobbs and Stephen Best as performance therapists, it's no longer just about rehab, it's about prehab. Preventative care becomes as essential as game planning. With Keenan Robinson managing recovery services, recovery is now its own pillar, not just an afterthought. Then there's the nutrition side. Promoting Kelsey Fahey to Director of Performance Nutrition signals that what players eat, when they eat it, and how it's tailored to their physiology is now a daily part of competitive advantage. Grace Kennedy joins the team to assist in that mission. And the inclusion of Jeremy Portillo as a performance science fellow? That tells us Cleveland is investing in research, experimentation, and cutting-edge science to fuel every ounce of physical potential. Now look again at Pat Rock's journey. From intern to leader in just over a decade. That doesn't happen unless someone is relentlessly effective. He's walked every hallway of this building. He's seen the injuries, the missteps, the consequences. And now he's been given the wheel. His deep institutional knowledge, combined with his scientific background, puts him in a unique position to rebuild not just protocols, but culture. This entire restructured department continues to operate in tandem with university hospitals and Dr. James Voos, who's not just the team's head physician, but also the president of the NFL Physicians Society. That kind of medical clout paired with internal modernization creates an ecosystem where elite performance isn't just the goal, it's the standard. But Browns fans, let's get real, this only matters if it translates. If the new team keeps Chubb from re-injury, if it helps Watson regain the mobility and confidence he lost, if the next rookie doesn't just survive camp, but thrives all season long. Because with every new specialist added, every role upgraded, and every method modernized, the message is clear. The excuses are gone. So what does this mean moving forward? It means that when the Browns enter the 2025 NFL Draft, their strategy can shift. With healthier rosters, they might not need to reach for positional backups. If recovery and performance science do their job, the front office can focus on strategic talent instead of reactive patches. And don't think for a second this won't impact free agency decisions either. Players talk. Word spreads. A franchise investing in cutting-edge performance? That's a draw. It also buys time for quarterback clarity. Shedeur Sanders is the name on everyone's lips with the Browns holding the number 2 overall pick. The Russell Wilson rumors have dried up, and the Kenny Pickett situation is far from ideal. With no veteran QB solution locked in, player development becomes even more critical, and you can't develop what you can't protect. What happens next is anyone's guess. But make no mistake, the Browns just drew a line in the sand. The 2025 season isn't just about winning games, it's about reinventing how the Browns function from the inside out. The front office is no longer tolerating an outdated performance model. The message to fans, to players, to the rest of the league is clear. Cleveland is done being broken. It's time to rebuild with purpose. Now it's your turn. Hit that like button if you believe this performance overhaul could finally break the Browns' injury curse. Subscribe.